Oh, and this is the gacha. Alright, let's see what they're talking about here. Scarborough Fair is the name of the system. What the fucking hell is happening? Yeah, this is not what I'm used to. Alright, so we use the Monopoly board. If you land on a golden chest, you also have a chance to get characters. Still sounds like gacha. You can think of it that way. But we also have unique features. After 7 rolls landing on S character... That is so... Wait, hold on. So the rumor is that this is zero... There is 0 50-50. 70 being max pity? Oh, 70 soft pity, okay. Okay, overall's 1.8, but that means I'm assuming probably 0.88 is without soft pity. Let's just go through that again really fast. Any S-class character obtained for limited banners will always be the featured limited character, meaning you'll never lose another 50-50. Arcs also obtained through the system. In this system, only a small amount of A-class and lower rarity arcs will serve as filler. The S and A-class arcs will be obtained directly through various game modes, or purchased with special currency. One can easily get it. Okay, our goal is to ensure that players won't be frustrated by not having suitable arcs for their characters. So in other words, free-to-play options. So that's like the weapon slot, I'm assuming. You can obtain the high-ranking arcs just by playing. And I think the answer to that is going to be yes. Yes, of course. I'm just a little skeptical of this type of gacha since it's literally one-by-one gambling on your average mobile MMO. Yeah, so there's two schools of thought you could be in with this, right? It can be a W, because it's 70 soft pity, with a rate of 1.8% when you do hit that soft pity, guaranteed. So I'm assuming it'd be around a 0.8%. Like that's like a 0.8% for us is like pretty average when it comes to characters or character banners and everything like that. So we're used to it if you play Wuwa, Genshin, Honkai, that kind of thing. So all of that being said, still it's the average rates, but there is 0 50-50. So it can kind of be like, oh, you can directly just pay to win, but then again, you get paid to win anyway. This only benefits free-to-plays. There is no if, and, or but here whether it does. The only thing you can kind of get mad at here, and I can understand the thought process, is if you were to, for example, want to stack basic 5 stars. Building pity does not exist anymore, okay? It never did, but even less now, because you would be fucked if you hit a 5-star. But there already an additional RNG Monopoly board? I don't think so. I think what we've seen with this Monopoly board, alright, I want to explain this really fast. From what we have seen with this Monopoly board, I think it's just a different way to present pressing pull, right? Pressing gacha. It's just a different way to like visually be shown the information. Ultimately, it is just still a back-end calculator seeing if you hit 0.8%, and if not, it's just adding 1 to the tally until you hit 70. So like, I would stress much about this Monopoly board. It's just a different way to process and show your information. But I was gonna say free, it's not free. A free, just said it wasn't free. A guaranteed pull on the limited character banner is literally insane. That is something you don't hear about, but I do want to know the compromise here. Where do they make their money, right? Unless they are a game that is going to be of a lower level of income, and they just know they are, so they're going to try and make people feel like they need to spend more because they're guaranteed and not going to have to do 50-50s. There's now like a static amount to how much a character is going to be on average versus the RNG of hitting hard pity, 50-50 losing, hitting medium to hard pity, and then force win max pity. So like how much these characters cost overall are going to be much cheaper if you were to spend money on a swipe. It's ultimately just a massive double. I do wonder the implications of it, because like where else does the money come from, right? Where are we going to get stiffed? They only mentioned 50-50 being a free thing on a perma banner. Oh, sorry, on a character banner. They did mention loosely you can get weapons for characters no matter what by just grinding at this little ladder stage here. But it's going to be very, very hard to say, because if there is no strings attached here and it is gamble or gacha free to play just like it is in every other game, every second person could be free to play and not really reap any repercussions if they just grind, which is ultimately what you'd want. But then the question comes into play the sustainability of this game financially speaking, because it needs to make money at the end of the day, right? We still don't know how many rolls we can get in average after the honeymoon phase. Exactly, but, and that's the thing. I'm thinking maybe free-to-play wise, it is going to be lower rolls on average. That's the medium, but I would take that. Personally, I would take that a lot. Because this, you eliminate so much chance, you know what I mean? You could hit early on 30 pulls and lose your 50-50 and then go to hard pity and you've done 130 to 110 pulls depending on the game you play to get that character, versus if you have a game like this and you hit early on that 30, you just have it. It's there, it's good, right? And then you go on to the next character that you want to go for. So another thing to think about is a way they could make money here is by copies, eidolons, for example, constellations. I forget what they're called in Wuwa, but that would be another way. These characters could be pretty okay with signature weapon and 0 dupes, but they could really get some serious power ups on dupe 1 through the dupe 6, right? That could be another side of things. I won last time 50s and we won 3 of them was early. Exactly, that's like mythical luck. But whereas in this game, you wouldn't have anything like that. You would just, like, everyone would be like you know what I mean? So I think maybe potentially copies will be very, very good and worth investing in, because that would be the only other way they directly make money in terms of trying to be a game that averages 10 to 30 mil a month. Because let's face it, with what this game looks like, they want to be a big hitter. They want to be a big dog in the yard. So yeah, let me know if you disagree or not, because that is such a W, but I want to know the implications more once we get this beta. I also big I get into the beta. Who knows?